What's going on, good people? It is the Bad Wolf once again here in the Wolf Den, bringing you guys some fire information. Now, as always, guys, understand that what we're talking about when we're doing a lot of these things, this is the legal style of things. Okay, these are matters that are for the legal department. Okay, so in the hierarchy of things, some of the judges, lawyers, police officers, officials, and I'll even say it, Department of State, various other departments, your postal office managers, not all of them, okay, especially no regular employees are going to know most of this information. This is for the legal department. None of them can argue most of this information because they're not the legal department. Oh, but Wolf, neither are you. I'm glad you asked. All of them have a red book on legal style. That's what it's called. Chicago Manual of Style. The Blue Book of Citations. And at the end of the day, there's also American jurisprudence. Unless the person who's watching this video from any of those departments reads, knows, or works in the legal department, you don't have much of a leg to stand on. And I do know that you guys watch these videos, and that's good. The sad part is when they go, oh, don't do those things. They're going to get you in trouble. Nobody has gotten into trouble since I started this channel doing any of these things. Not the way I show. Maybe if they're doing some financial things, they can get into trouble. And that's usually when you're trying to use files and their files, the system's files, to get more money than you're supposed to get, if any at all. That's when you get into trouble. You always have the right to declare who and what you are as a state citizen. Where's that found, Wolf? I'm glad you asked. In the government's GPO Styles Manual, under Section 5.23, the natives of the states or the natives of the several states, when you use that local term, since you were born, Floridian, New Yorker, Wisconsinite, Californian, Texan, where do you think it came from? Those are native and natural names for the land in that area, the republic. All the people together make up that state. The word state doesn't physically mean the that the word state means wherever there are people and they agree to things or things are gathered underneath the same name or banner. So the private people of the state, when they're born, are natives to that area and they call themselves Texans. That's what the government's manual says. Texan is a local term for those private people. It's what it is. Now, when you adopt and utilize 14th Amendment name, which is the name in all capitalized letters, so created on the state level by the state, they gave you that document. They made you an employee. They made you a person who can be a trustee or a beneficiary, a creator, a grantor, if you do things through that name. All right. So, what is this particular video about? Okay. Before I get into that, well, it's going to be about color of law, color of title, colorability, all the things that you guys once again don't know. See, a lot of the people who watch, you guys are growing and understanding this and using this and winning. We've seen the court cases we've been winning. Okay. I've even put out information on here that people who lost their case can use to go back and win their case. There's a reason why these agencies and people watch, because a lot of them don't know themselves what goes on in the legal department. So if somebody contacts me, you can feel how you want to feel. The Constitution protects your ability to have a feeling about something, but your feeling is not fact. I'm showing you the books and information and places in your government, in your post office, in your Department of State, in your government manuals. The state, each state has their own styles manual. Did you know that? You work there, but you feel some kind of way. about this information. It's mental health issues. You're not finding out the facts. The facts of the matter is you're not the legal department. So if you want to have your legal department contact me, by all means, I'll go toe to toe with them any day. That's why I've been winning these court cases, getting people wrongfully arrested or accused out. As an attorney, in fact, I'm turning over facts. These are the facts. People want to tell me how they feel without, that is a form of mental instability and mental health issue. You feel some kind of way because you've been working on a job, but you don't know anything on the legal level, only basic operations that somebody taught you. Have you gone to your manager or the area manager or the legal department to ask about these things privately? No. So, oh man, people are wild. It's like I shouldn't have to slap around grown adults in the sandbox because of their feelings. It's like anybody who comes at me with out of the emotional state, you are entitled to feel how you want to feel, but is that your trigger? Are you triggered because I did something similar that somebody else has done and that triggers you, but now I have to deal with it? It's not right. And I don't deal with that. I shut that down. Call it what you want. I call it brilliant because I'm not going to waste my time and energy. But if you want to bring me facts, we can work with that. Feelings aren't facts. I feel mad. I feel sad. I feel anger. I feel like you're not telling the right information. Great. Then prove me wrong by doing the research and presenting it in a professional demeanor. We can go from there. I've already shown you guys how they change things, update things, modify things, hide things. Uh, they won't say what it is directly, but they'll say what it ain't. Well, we're not going to use the term state citizen. How about we use a term or national? How about we use the term non-citizen U.S. nationals? Well, Wolf, that's not the same thing, isn't it? You just don't know how to overstand the information. Because if it's non-citizen, that means you're not a citizen. See, they find the legal way of saying certain things. If you're not a citizen, non-citizen, what's left? U.S. national. Already proven this in the videos. What is a U.S. national? 8 U.S.C. 1101 22B. All U.S. citizens are U.S. nationals, but not all U.S. nationals are U.S. citizens. So what does that tell you? That tells you that if the word national contains the word nati, which means native, which means non-man-made, that's naturally made by common law, nature's law, God's law, then you were that first, because the U.S. citizen is legal fiction. It was created. You were always born a national and a private person. The U.S. citizen was then created, right? They created that term, but you were always born natural to the land, which is America. People be wild. See, here's the thing. I don't really care about the rhetoric and people not liking me. If the Bible says that not even all of Jesus's people liked him and he did nothing but try to do his best and good, if you want to go into that aspect of things, then what chance would I have? So I don't care. I'm not here for debate and debating people per se. Like, I'm not going to fight you on the issue, but if you have information, you can definitely present it, take a look at it. But if you are not either self-taught and trained in the legal area, the legal style of things, or work in the legal department, then sure, yeah, your feelings matter and your feelings are right. Then go ahead and live your life. But then ask yourself, why are there things that you don't know about the very government agency, state agency, post office, or whatever else, when why are they hiding it? There's things you don't know. Ask them. Ask your boss. Go grab the legal style manual for your corporation, your branch, or your whatever else, and go read it. Talk to the legal department. Tell them you want to talk to them in private. You have no idea how many people. For instance, I'll point out the post office because I know there's postal workers who work there. But if you're just a postal worker and not in the legal department, how can you possibly know about, say, like the passport application and what you can and can't do? The post office, you've got like one person who's trained mostly in accepting the passport applications, not even the materials and the legalities of what is put on there. You think you know everything? You think you're fully trained? It's a pretty bold statement to think that. See, the legal department, they know what's going on. And if they don't know, they'll research it. And that's why I have won again, and keep winning. See, I didn't know anything about the legal department until I contacted the legal departments of these places, and we've talked. How do you think there's people in the postal USPS that tell me certain things? I think I know about some of these forms. I don't just sit and go through all their forms. Some of them reach out to me and they say, "Hey, I can't say this in the public, but I'll tell you in the private. This is the form you use for this. Here's how you fill out the passport application. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that." Why? Because people want their rights and freedoms and they don't want this. And I'm somebody who's been doing this for almost 40 years now. Might kind of be good at it. All right, guys, what's up? What's up? What's up? Just had to throw that out there just because of a couple of emails and whatever else that came my way. I just wanted people to have an understanding. So once again, this particular video is going to be about color. Okay, but color in use in the sense of color of law, colorability, um, color of office, color of title, color of claim, colorable transaction. Why? Why? Why does, and this is on Cornell Law EDU, so hi Cornell Law EDU. I know you guys watch my videos as well. I'm going to send another shout out to all the police officers who watch this, who want to learn, who are willing to learn, because that's the American in you. The rest of the ones who either overstep the law, don't want to know it or think they know, who don't want to talk and communicate with their legal department or their commanding officer in private, well, you guys are just traitors to the United States of America. I don't care if you work in the post office or the Department of State or Cornell Law. If you guys are doing anything against the Constitution and people's rights, you're a traitor. Now, understand this. Within your jurisdiction, so you guys think that it's all just mushed together. It's not. There's a clear and distinct difference between the laws, and there's multiple laws of jurisdiction in this land. They are overlaid, and they start with the foundation level, which is the land. That is terra firma jurisdiction. You have these as rights, base rights. That's why the Supreme Court, the Federal District Court, the Constitution are the supreme laws of the land. There's nothing higher other than God's law, natural law, private law, trust law in the private. But there's also trust law and private law in the next jurisdiction. Next jurisdiction you're going to have that we deal with. So this is federal level, and that's why they are there to protect it. Then there is state. In the same area, here's the land, here's the federal and God and all that de jure. Here's the state, here's theirs. Now, what's the next one that can be there? Your own micronation. Private law, contract law, all of these things. So all these layers of law and jurisdictions all exist, but they can't intermingle. There have to be a clear, which one are you in? So when you're dealing with, yeah. So when you're dealing with certain matters, you're in a certain jurisdiction. That's why they tell you, oh, it's federal matter. Oh, you got to sue them in state court. You got to go, use local, whatever it is. Or, oh, that's a private matter. You need an intermediary or mediation, third-party mediation. It depends on what the matter is. That's why there's subject matter jurisdiction. There's also personal or persona jurisdiction. Who has the jurisdiction over you or over the subject? Those are your main two things. All right, guys. So as always, check out blacksite32.com. For those of you guys who do not know, there's a black site free document page number 2, because I was informed that I have reached the max amount of files. And some of the files are too big. I can't load them on there because they have a loading limit. Didn't know that was really a thing in this day and age. But yeah, so there's a new set. As always, guys, those files are educational information only. All right, use at your own responsibility, free will, etc., etc. We here at Bad Wolf, James C, we do not take any responsibility. Some of the files are not mine personally, but the ones that were free found. People have used them and had success. However, that does not mean that you may have the same results, because each state, each department, whatever, you might have somebody in the office who feels some kind of way about how you're filling it out. Everything we've done here, when someone's like, oh, they won't let me do it, there are offices across the state that you can go to get it done there, other counties to refile. You can report them. You can get the government involved. But all of them have been done successfully around the United States. So it just might mean that that particular person doesn't like you, doesn't want you to do it, or because some manager feeling some type of way or told from a higher elite, don't let them do that. Slow them down. We don't like what they're doing. But none of them have ever said it was illegal. Because it's not illegal. It is your right. It's very little known because we've never known that we should be claiming our rights, liberties, and freedoms. We thought we had them. In that 3-layer depiction I just gave you, we thought we were here. Well, there's a reason why they're getting away with the things they're doing, is because they're attacking you while you utilize not the Constitution level. And that being said, if you haven't bought in the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights and read all of them, then why are you even commenting me about how you feel? Because see, I understand most of these people's jobs better than they do. Because they're not operating here on the Constitution, they're operating here on the state. The state has its own rules, laws, and regulations. The actual law by the Constitution, federal law, states that you guys can basically do whatever you want to do in your jurisdiction. That is the U.S. citizen jurisdiction. But that doesn't mean that's the only jurisdiction. But you know where they get their power from? The Constitution. Constitutional law. Sorry, don't worry. I'm not really on my horse today. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there for some people who wanted to kind of have a little rhetoric, you know. So, without further ado, let's see what we're talking about. Color. Okay. So, color in a legal sense. So, what does it say? In a legal sense. You know why they say that? Do you know why? Mr. Know-it-all in the paper pushing department, who's not in the legal department. You know why? Because they mean this in a legal sense, meaning the legal style. What does this mean on the quantum level of legality? Legally. It means we're not using Webster's dictionary. What does this mean in law? So they say color in a legal sense, meaning used here, the word color doesn't mean just like it's red, blue, green. Roy G. Biv, Bell Biv DeVoe. Yo, slick blow. They're saying the word color in the legal style refers to the appearance of a thing. Well, what I thought the word color just meant how it looked. Yeah, and they're saying it, yeah, that how does it look? But in a legal viewpoint, what does the word color mean in the styles manual? Well, in a legal sense, meaning the word legalized, the word color is referring to the appearance of a thing as distinguished from the thing itself. So there's a thing there, but what does it look like? For example, the color of law refers to the appearance of legal authority. So here, when you use the word, something has the color of law, it's not the law, which is the Constitution. It appears to be a legal authority. So when you use the word someone's operating in color of law, which are usually police officers, because police officers are not sheriffs operating under and solely under the Constitution. Police officers are generally looked at and referred to, and this comes from the police, private law enforcement for U.S. citizens. That would be the second level on the level of things I showed you. That's under the state. They're a corporation. They operate for profit. They do receive usually some government funding, etc. So that puts them ultimately underneath the jurisdiction, but they themselves are private for people who are part of the public jurisdiction. So they're saying this has the appearance of law. And now that doesn't mean, back it up, doesn't mean you can go out and disrespect a police officer or you're above the law at all. I've never said that. I wouldn't say anything so stupid. Okay. But what it means is that if you are operating using their stuff, then you are their member. It's no different than like joining the Elks Lodge or the Water Buffalo tribe or whatever, you know, the dudes with the hats and all that good jazz. You're a member of theirs, except for they extend their membership to be operated outside of specific buildings. So if I join the Boy Scouts, which by the way I am, or yeah, technically I guess I never quit, and happen to be an Eagle Scout, and I can walk around outside in the public and wear my garb and all that stuff and use my Boy Scout, Eagle Scout ID and conduct myself that way. I'm extending what could have been just indoors with that particular society out into the real world. You have the ability to do that because you were born with it as a state citizen and a national. When you joined the U.S., which is when they had you do what? Prove residency. Well, we all know the word residence, it contains the word reside and enter. Resident, you are a resident. Residency, you've left something. What did you leave? I'm glad you asked. You left your private side under the Constitution temporarily while in their use of that all capitalized name on the state level. Now, remember, the federal level does not operate under the U.C.C. So when they use the words in all capitalized letters, to them, it doesn't mean anything. There's no reference because they say there's so many different things going on out there that this could mean. We don't use them. But the states do because they're bound to the U.C.C. And the U.C.C. utilizes these things under definitions in conspicuous format. The changing of a word from its natural typography, which means small lettering, to something larger or smaller than normal or blue or a different color means that this is contract, it's commercial, something legal, it's man-made, which is why when you create a business through the state or the government, they give it to you in what? All capitalized letters, because you created a legal entity, a legal thing. This wasn't something natural. It wasn't already out there in nature. It was birthed by something that was also not a living thing, a product of mankind. That's why they don't want you to know there's certain CURESs for various things out there that are natural. They can't patent anything and make money off of natural things. So they make synthetic things because those can be controlled, they can be sold, they can be patented. All right, let's get back to it. All right, so for example, if you sue somebody under deprivation of rights, 242, which is color of law, or 241 and 242, color and color of law. Okay, so deprivation of rights is 241, color of law is 242. You're saying that this person does not have the legal authority. They are not the one who governs you in your jurisdiction. You're pretending to be the highest legal authority, which would be, in this case, a sheriff operating under the Constitution. So, or apparently legal right, and is often described the abuse of power under the guise of state authority. So they're saying you're pretending to have this authority over the state that you are operating under. So that means that in the same area, there's like 3 or 4 different states that can be your superior. Is it the Constitution you're operating under? Is it the state you're operating under? Are you under private contract? When the right may not actually exist and is therefore illegal. So now we know what color means in a legal sense. So let's see what color of law means. Hold on 1 second. All right, should be able to hear it now.
Refers to the appearance of legal authority or an apparently legal right that may not exist. The term is often used to describe the abuse of power under the guise of state authority, and is therefore illegal. The term was used in the Civil Rights Act of 1871, where the color of law was synonymous with state action and referred to an official whose conduct was so closely associated with a state that the conduct was deemed to be the action of that state. The Act grants citizens the right to sue government officials and their agents for using their power to violate civil rights. An example is the history of redlining, which can be seen in this map from Syracuse, New York.
All right, so color of law. You're saying that the act grants the right to sue government officials. So this would be your police officers, your federal agents, and whoever else, and their agents for using their power to violate your civil rights. So what does this mean right here? This means that your civil rights, which are protected by the Constitution and federal government, they're saying, hey, if we mess up, our people mess up, or these states or anybody underneath us, which would be the police departments, violate your rights. So obviously this must, if you can sue over this, this must means this is the superior power here. You guys should have already been taught this stuff in civics. Got grown ass men out here and people watching my videos. Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's right here in the law university. So you guys should have been taught this in civics class, but they got rid of a lot of civics classes because they don't want you to know these things. I learned these things from Miss Miller years ago, one of my teachers. You're gonna tell me I don't, man, come on, man. But you know what? Hey, keep being a traitor to the Constitution and listening to people above you who don't uh, care about you. And I know you guys have to collect the paycheck. I'm not mad at you. All right. But if you tell me you think you know the whole truth and you think then you'd be in the legal department. You'd be making legal department money. I'm at least trying to show you your rights and freedoms, and you want to listen. I get it. You want to listen to your boss. Your boss writes your check. I don't. I'm only trying to set you free, and you're based on yes, boss, yes, master. Paid fiat currency, not even real money. They're not even paying you in lawful money. They're paying you with paper. You're not receiving gold or silver or anything tangible that has an intrinsic value. I can't even begin to tell you how some of you people out there who are against this information are doing damage and helping your oppressors, and you don't even realize it. Just it's taking all the D, huh? That's crazy to me. You're not even willing to sit down. You feel some way listening to another man who told you how to think and pays you in fiat that's not even real money, but you don't want to listen to the town crier. Well, that's okay. Because you know what? God bless America. You have that right. I respect you for using your right to be ignorant. Ain't read the Constitution or your own company's legal styles manual, but you guys feel some type of way about what I'm saying. Well, I don't know. Uh, all right, let's get back to it. So let's go to color of office.
Color of office. Color of office refers to a person acting as if they are in an official capacity as an employee of a governmental unit.
So a real governmental unit, okay, is the federal government directly. Anybody else, though they have some power and authority, are not the law.
Unit, but taking action that is not authorized. In other words, an office holder acts under the color of office when they take some action under the pretense that the office confers the authority of them to do so.
In other words, when a police officer pulls you over and turns on his lights and there's not an emergency, he's declaring a state of emergency. If he pulls you out of your car, and he doesn't have a warrant, and you're not doing anything criminal, you're in the act of committing a crime, he doesn't have the authority to do that. If you are in the act of a crime, okay, like speeding too fast, which is usually like 20 over, 19 or 20 over is criminal because you can seriously do some damage. So I tell people, don't speed, give it up. Stop trying to look cool. Oh, look at me, I'm zipping across people. I cut somebody off. Oh, like the freaking moron this morning. This shit ain't cute. You're endangering people's lives. What if somebody was endangering your mama's life? Yeah, then it's not fun, huh? Or do you only care about yourself? And morons, man. But to the good people out there who get it and do operate, I respect you guys, appreciate you guys, and bless you guys. So if he does something with like that without a warrant, he is not a judge, and he's not a federal judge who represents actual law. He doesn't have a warrant, and it should be a warrant signed in wet ink and presented for either your person or your vehicle by a authorized judge.
So, typically, the term is used in connection with a form of official misconduct, such as extortion or soliciting bribes.
Okay, let's go to color of title.
Color of title. Color of title refers to a document or other instrument that appears to be a legitimate claim of title to a piece of land, but due to a title defect, cannot transfer or convey ownership. In other words, a person has color of title to a piece of property when, for one reason or another, the document evidencing title, a deed, for example, is invalid. Color of title is also known as apparent title since the document gives off an appearance of a valid title, but in reality, it is defective and invalid.
All right. So it's telling you here that this instrument appears to be legitimate, but in the titling, there's a defect. Something is wrong with it. It's fake, it's fraudulent, it's not perfected. Like finding errors on tickets that can be used to get the ticket dropped. If the title ain't right, it has not actually conveyed or transferred ownership. It's bogus, bupkis. Okay, look up colorable claim.
Colorable claim. A colorable claim is a plausible legal claim.
You hear how they keep saying legal? We'll check that out at the end. Let's keep going.
Claim. This means that the claim is strong enough to have a reasonable chance of being valid if the legal basis is generally correct and the facts can be proven in court. Note that the claim need not actually result in a win.
So colorable claim that it looks like this should be good enough. Looks like it should be good. Let's check out the word legal, see what they mean by that. Just want to show you guys how you can easily start going down rabbit holes when learning this. So I try to make it easier. So
Legal.
if you appreciate me and the content, always feel free to send a donation. Okay. So special triple shout out to Ramen, who has been supporting monthly on his own. I appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you for the support. Amounts of whatever, $5, 10 cents, $1 million, whatever it is, I appreciate it. I'm not like other people just trying to soak your money up and disappear and not make their Zoom appearances. I hold mine. I'm not trying to just rip people off, charging too much per hour and whatever else. But your life, if you're going to take my life force and time, then yes, there's a cost for that. I try to be modest even with that and with the pricing. There's people out there I've taught who are making more money than me. So I know I'm worth it 100%. If you're willing to pay somebody else $1,000 and I'm only charging $250, yeah, I think I'm worth it. So let's get going. Let's keep going.
Legal. Legal means anything having to do with the law. However, in everyday conversation, we often use legal to refer to something that conforms to the law or at the very least does not break it. Historically, the term was used in contrast to equitable. In that time,
did you hear that? It says historical. That doesn't mean it's gone. That just means that it started way back when it's mentioned or utilized. So there is a difference between legal and equitable, typically, because equitable or equity means real, de jure, constitutional, American. If I build a house, I put sweat equity into it. having a real house sitting right there on the land, have equity, equality, equus. If I draw a picture of a house and say I have a house, that's means I legally have a house. But that would be a debtor's world, the maritime admiralty jurisdiction, the U.S. system, the U.S. citizen. On paper, it looks good. Well, try bringing your girl home to a drawn picture of a house and see what happens.
People could take their complaints to either courts of law or courts of equity. Both systems gave people different remedies to their problems in the form of either legal relief or equitable relief, respectively. Typically, legal relief awards the wronged person money damages in order to make them whole. The aim of legal relief is to put victims back in the positions they were in before the wrong occurred. Today, in the United States, most courts have merged the two systems and can provide either type of relief. Legal is also used in many terms of art within the law field, like legal action. See also legal cause, legal duty, and legal fiction.
So right there, they're telling you that legal means dealing with law, some type of law. It doesn't say the only. Okay, so let's look up legal fiction.
Legal fiction. A legal fiction is an assumption and acceptance of something as fact by a court, although it may not be true, to allow a rule to operate or be applied in a manner that differs from its original purpose while leaving the letter of the law unchanged. Reasons for creating a legal fiction can vary, but legal fictions are typically designed to achieve convenience, consistency, equity, or justice. For example, where a court cannot exercise in personam jurisdiction over a defendant, it can bring that.
Whoa, 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 little sexy. Easy, easy, boy. Easy. He said, for example, where a court cannot exercise in personam jurisdiction. This means the court, whichever one it may be, does not have personal jurisdiction or persona, person, over the defendant. If they don't have personal jurisdiction, that's why you hear some people say, I'm going to challenge personal jurisdiction, a personam, for those of you who even knew about that. How do you have jurisdiction over my body?
That defendant under its jurisdiction via quasi in rem subtype.
Quasi in rem. So let's look at that. Okay, like I said, see, you can't just read through things. You have to break all this down. Now you got to see why when you do start learning this, you learn it, you get super smart because you don't understand what's going on.
Quasi in rem. Quasi in rem is a Latin term meaning as if against a thing. It refers to a type of civil action which, similar to in rem, is directed against property, but instead of applying to everyone, it only applies to those named in the action. When hearing quasi in rem actions, a court may only affect a named defendant's interest in a specific named piece of property. These actions have
In other words, they can't go after the whole business, your position, amount you make in it, and status in that. Okay? That's what it means. I'm not going to have you go through the whole thing. Okay? So the latter is a form of personal jurisdiction that uses the defendant's property to satisfy a claim against them and is a legal fiction because it treats the owner of the property as a defendant, although the subject of the suit is technically the property itself. They do this when they go after you. They go after your house, your whatever that's underneath your legal name. Your legal name is what's holding your property. So they go after it. Okay, let's back up. Okay, so let's get back here. I know, right? We went all over the world, but that's how you have to learn.
Both systems gave people different remedies to their problems in the form of either legal relief or equitable relief, respectively. Typically, legal relief awards the wronged person money damages in order to make them whole. The aim of legal relief is to put victims back in the positions they were in before the wrong occurred. Today, in the United States, most courts have merged the two systems and can provide either type of relief. Legal is also used in many terms of art within the law field, like legal action.
Okay. So there you have it. Let's back up again. All right. So now that we know about legal, well, what's that lawful thing I heard about, right? So let's go. Let's just legal and lawful. Shot goes out to Free Phrasley.
Lawful versus legal. Updated January 28, 2023. What are the differences between lawful and legal? Lawful and legal are similar in meaning but have slight differences. Lawful is an adjective that means conforming to the law or in agreement with the law. Legal is an adjective that means permitted by law or following the law.
Okay, so what they're really saying here is that law represents the Constitution, the highest power of the land. Legal means that underneath lawful, okay, this means you have a right, but it's underneath lawful. Lawful was natural, first created, then you've got legal. All right. Lawful right here, conforming to the law or in agreement. Legal means it's permitted by lawful. So this would be lawful, would be constitutional. That's why you have ultimate lawful rights under the Constitution. Protects it. Federal government must do that. All people, postal workers, police officers, sheriffs, attorneys, lawyers, all took an oath to protect the Constitution. Some of them took another oath to the bar. The constitutional oath is lawful. The bar oath is legal. It stands under it. It understands the law. It is not the law. It is a law. It is legal. In other words, lawful is granddaddy. Legal is father. Lawful is the supreme law. It is the law. It is it. And from it birthed legal. So legal doesn't have, legal is put here by lawful's authority. It has a lot of rights and a lot of power, but it still was granted by the lawful constitution, God's law, private law, people. This is a subcategory underneath lawful that you have a lot of power to have people contract. But ultimately, if they do something that's not lawful or unlawful, lawful steps in and says, you can't do that. You don't have enough power. You're depriving them of their absolute rights.
Heck. Translate.
I don't know why I jumped up there. Must have hit something by accident.
How do people commonly confuse lawful and legal? People commonly confuse lawful and legal because they are often used interchangeably in everyday language and can be seen as synonyms.
But see, they're not. See how it says can be seen? That doesn't mean is. They didn't say lawful. So you got to be careful. They're saying that you guys we use these things interchangeably off the cuff because we're morons. Idiota. This would not be a mistake for somebody in the legal department. It says it can be seen. It doesn't say is. It doesn't say are synonyms. It says can be seen as that. But it's not. They're not the same.
Synonyms. However, they actually have two distinct meanings. Lawful refers to something that is in accordance with the law, while legal refers to something that has been established by law.
So the actual law is the Constitution for the United States of America. Organic, de jure, my country, patriot, God bless America. Hallowed be thy name. But from that law created a pocket universe where the things that occur in there are now legal to be done by the masters of that pocket universe. The U.S. corporation, your state codes, regulations. And if you put one universe over the other one in the same physical area, which is what's going on in your geographical state, that landmass, then it appears that they're one and the same, but they are not. They're just physically, from the top down, occupying the same physical area. But you have the opportunity and the ability and the freedom to exist in either one at any point in time, which is the difference between the U.S. national of the United States, foreign resident, state citizen, born privately and natural, or sliding into the other one, de facto U.S. citizen, state of Florida, state of Maine, state of California, a different jurisdiction in the same area. It's like switching different colored clothes. You have the ability to do either one on the same body, but whichever one you wear puts you in a different jurisdiction. If you're a police officer, you take off your uniform, your badge, you're not a police officer. You are not endowed with those in that particular universe.
Law. Therefore, although something may be lawful, it may not always be legal, and vice versa.
So in other words, depending on the circumstance or the event that you're taking part in, if I'm in an area that's private and I want to operate and use my constitutional carry that's lawful, they might say, yeah, but you can't have that firearm here or that arm here. I understand that it's lawful for you to carry one, but it's illegal. Or vice versa. I'm operating my vehicle in such a manner that I'm driving. And if I'm driving, I'm enjoying the benefit of that particular system, but it can be done in the public. Driving is legal, but it's not lawful because you are operating in a different capacity, a different jurisdiction. You're operating under the state's bubble universe. But that's by your choice.
What are some ways to make sure you don't confuse lawful and legal? Make sure you understand the difference between lawful and legal before writing your sentence.
So they're telling you right here, you can have a legal right and you can have a lawful right. Right to drive, lawful right to travel. Those same things in either or's universe are not permissible. There's no such thing as a lawful right to drive. Driving is a legal thing. It was put there under the state's ability in their universe. They created that. All right. All right, guys. So that's basically it. The difference between your legal and lawful. And really where that started at was the under the term color. All right. So that is it. I'm going to grab a little bite to eat because I'm always hungry if you guys haven't noticed that. And we'll talk to you guys later. Enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend, and we will be back with more class. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Chuck Woolery. All right, guys, take care.